Hi everybody, welcome to our second parent webinar. The reason why we have had this today and we've invited some really amazing key speakers is because the fact that yes, we're reaching out to the teachers that we know are working incredibly hard and obviously trying to mould the curriculum for your children, but the biggest thing is that you as parents, you're being all of those things. You're being a parent, you're being a teacher, you're trying to sort the house out. So really, I just want to, I know that us at Victory Heights wanted to reach out to you to say that we are here for support. So I'm going to hand you over to the lovely Miss Laura Dowman. That way.
Thanks, Hannah. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, Key Stage 1 parents, so Year 1 and Year 2 parents. Welcome to this second webinar, and hoping you find it really useful. I am very, very aware as a parent myself of the tremendous pressures and the challenges that you are all under. And I do hope that this afternoon session will help you and will give you a few ideas and tips. This whole situation wasn't anything that any of us expected or even imagined back in September at the start of this academic year. I know many of you are juggling your own jobs. You might be working on your sofas or on your dining room tables or on your spare beds. And your children are now suddenly their classrooms and their desks and working environments and maybe their bedrooms or their lounges. It's also different. Some of you will also be juggling younger siblings or teenagers or babies and toddlers in the house at the same time. And so you're going to have days things will go well and everything goes well, and there'll be other days when things are a bit more tricky, or there might be a few tantrums or a few tears. And so I know that you've given plenty of feedback over the last few weeks, and I hope that you feel and can recognise that the school has really reflected and improved over those couple of weeks. I know certainly we're getting into more of a routine, and I know the teachers have opened up, perhaps using video conferencing and using Zoom sessions a lot more. And these sessions should really be helping you as parents to be able to reach out and encourage your children to be more independent and go to their teachers to support them more in the curriculum, to ask questions. So hopefully today you'll enjoy this. I hope you'll get a few tips. Please, if you have any questions or any comments, there's a comments box down there. Please ask questions, and then perhaps if we've got time in this session, we can answer those questions. We can look at those and see how we can help further. If you have any questions regarding fees or finance or enrollment, then obviously please put those to the normal address of community at VH Primary. And I know that we've also sent out re-enrollment information onto the app or emails as well. And there's also our wonderful parent liaison, Trish, who we'll be seeing later on, who can also help or answer any questions as well today. So we've got lots of people here today that are going to chat to us. We've got Hayley Martin, we've got Hayley Lamb, and we've got Miss Libby, and lots of parents. We've got Catherine and Julian Allen, and also Trish, our lovely parent liaison. So we're going to start first of all with Miss Hayley Martin, our pastoral lead at Victory Heights. Hi, Hayley.
Hi, everyone.
They won't answer, but they can see and hear you. Thanks very much, Hayley, and over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So my name's Miss Hayley, and I'm the pastoral leader at Victory Heights. I also work within Year 1 and 2 with the children in small groups for social skills. So today I wanted to focus mainly on how we can motivate the children. But before I do, I just wanted to share this one thought, that as teachers, we know that a great motivator for children is praise. But as we get older, that praise kind of dries up. And so I wanted to just say to you guys that you are doing an amazing job. And thank you so much for all the support that you are giving us as teachers and your children in this time of home learning. So anyway, some of the strategies I'm going to share with you today are literally just the cherries on top of the cake. They're not meant to take away anything that you're doing so far. It's just to add that little extra to make things go that little bit more smoothly. So the first idea that I wanted to share with you is the idea of routines. So if you imagine our school day a little bit like a washing line, and our routines and the little schedules that we have throughout our day are the pegs to which the children peg their learning to. Now, what we want to do at home is to try and create that same kind of feeling. So I would really recommend thinking about the routines that you are implementing within your school day, within your day. So this doesn't have to be big, huge schedules of things for For each hour, they can be simple things like making sure that the children put their uniform on before they start their day. It could be sharing a snack at the same time each morning, or maybe if you have multiple people working from home, that they share a lunch together. So the children know what is coming next. And this will really help soothe some of that anxiety that maybe the children don't even know that they're feeling. I would also recommend the idea of using visuals, and that the children have a visual timetable. We use these in schools a lot to help schedule our day and to show the children what's coming next. There are lots and lots of different ideas online. There are some great ways that you can personalize your own schedules and routines with pictures and photographs and their favorite comic strips and cartoon characters. I would also maybe suggest giving the children a little bit of autonomy, and that means giving them some responsibility in their learning. So why not ask them, what do they want to do within their timetable? How do they want to schedule their home learning? I know that I've already spoken to some parents who have found that scheduling PE first thing in the morning really helps to settle their children down, and so that by mid-morning they're ready to start some of the more academic subjects like English and maths. I would also look at maybe including lots of movement breaks, maybe more than you even think your child is going to need. There are some great ideas online at the moment, things like Joe Wicks and his YouTube channel. Go Noodle is a wonderful website with some really lovely active ideas for the children to get involved with. But remember as well that our children, one thing doesn't fit all, and our children are very different. So for some children, a really physical break is something that they need, whereas others might need something a little bit more gentle. So they may need something a little bit more relaxing, like some breathing techniques, some yoga, some stretching. I would also even suggest maybe linking up with some friends. Why not share a Zoom meeting where you're working together on a YouTube with a YouTube video, and it just helps to connect the children together in a really familiar setting, but also it's not asking them too much. It's not asking them to share that dialogue with each other, which can sometimes feel a little bit unsettling. I would also recommend something called heavy work. So this is where we get the children to really use their muscles to get that sensory feedback. So this could be something like push-ups against a wall, or maybe on a chair, pushing or pulling something heavy, and it just gives the children that sensory feedback, and so that then they can move on with their day and concentrate on their learning. I would really suggest that, again, as I said at the start of my session, that praise is a massive motivator. And remember, we're not just praising the academic ability and whether they have completed a whole task. We're praising them for the effort that they're putting in, the behaviour that they've shown. Remember, their work isn't meant to be perfect. We're not looking for a piece of work where every question is completed or where every sentence has been written and spelt correctly. We're trying to teach the children that mistakes are part of learning. They are what help us learn, and we all make them. So please, when you're looking at working with the children, relax, enjoy the process rather than fixating on whether it's correct and whether it's right. I would also like to spend a little bit of time thinking about our digital daily diet. So at the moment, the children are spending a lot of time online. Unfortunately, this is how we're having to deliver our lessons, and we just need to give ourselves a little bit of compassion and know that this is just for now, and that we can make this digital diet more positive. And the way we can do that is using or looking at 5 different areas. The first area is connecting. So making sure that the children are really connecting with their family, with their friends, with their school teachers and their school community. Miss Laura mentioned the idea of the Zoom meetings. And I know for some of our younger children, this can be a very challenging idea. The looking down a camera lens and having to talk to their teachers and their friends can be very overwhelming. So there are some ways that we can try and help the children overcome this. We can maybe look at raising the laptop so that it sits higher, so that then it's at eye level, so the children are looking at their teacher and their friends' eyes. We can also make sure that we could even stick a sticker by the camera of a little face. I know now I actually have 2 eyes on either side of the camera just to remind me of where I should be looking. And this is a really lovely way of helping the children recognise where they need to be looking at the screen. Also, it's a really good idea if you are in a Zoom meeting with the children to maybe turn off their camera so that they can't see themselves, because I know I'm sitting here and I'm finding it very, very strange looking at a picture of myself, and I'm concentrating on that rather than on what I'm saying and the people on the other side of the camera. Finally, another idea is to look at background. And if you are on a Zoom meeting with friends, that you share a background, choose a background that you can all have. So you're gaining that feeling of being together and you're connecting in more ways than just talking to each other. Be active. Make sure that some of your digital diet is activity. We mentioned the idea of YouTube channels and the great wealth of ideas that are out there. But remember as well, this could also include creating your own content, getting the children to make their own YouTube videos to add online or to share with friends and family. Get creative, learn a new skill. I've always wanted to sew, so I'm trying to, as much as I can, to think of, to look at as many YouTube channels as I can to get some great ideas. So try and be creative rather than just looking through and browsing the internet. Use it as a way to learn a new skill. Also, give to others, thinking of ways that we can show our gratitude, whether that be in sharing ideas or linking up with a pen pal from another country, trying to ask the children to be a little bit more positive in how they respond to one another online. It's very easy when you're on one side of a camera to forget, especially for the children, that they are talking to children, they're talking to teachers. So be very mindful of how we're speaking. Let's keep our language positive and make sure that we are talking to people in the same way that we would like to be spoken to. And finally, be mindful. So that is thinking about how we're feeling. How does it feel to be online for this length of time? To help the children understand, we need to take regular breaks. We need to understand how we're feeling and then to find ways and strategies to cope with that. Now, the next one is a little bit hard, I know. We're living in strange times and it can sometimes be difficult to find the more playful side of our natures, but I really recommend that in this time we engage and encourage family play. So have times during the day to be silly. I know yesterday Miss Cindy, our FS1 teacher, spoke about having times where she just turns the music up loud and sing, and all of the children sing really loudly in her house just to be silly and to have 5 minutes where they have some downtime. I would really recommend the Guinness Book of World Records for kids. They have a great section on try this at home, and it would be a lovely way of including the whole family in an activity that's in the home, and you can even beat and create your own world record. So finally, I just wanted to leave you with this thought, and it's that children won't remember how much they've learnt in this period of home learning, but they will remember how they feel. So I want us to think about how we can really help the children with their well-being and with your well-being, to make sure that this is seen as much of a positive experience as we can make it. Thanks so much for listening. And if I can help in any way, my email is hmartin@vhprimary.com. And hopefully I will see you soon. I think it's over to Laura.
Hi, Hayley. Top tips. Thank you so much for that. I know I was thinking about a lot of the things you were saying and about how much we're actually doing of that at home or not. Our timetables definitely become a lot more flexible over the couple of weeks. And something I'm constantly saying to my Leo, who's in year 4, constantly saying, just remember the timetable's flexible. Remember it's flexible. It's there to guide you, but it doesn't have to be completely rigid. And that's something that over time he's getting so much better. And again, Hayley, like you were saying, those brain breaks, that, you know, physical activity and the breakaway either from the screen or just doing a bit of exercise or something completely fun and crazy is so crucial, just to keep the joy in the house. You know, we are definitely enjoying doing the Joe Wicks, and Leo quite often will take himself off to do those as well during the day as a brain break. So thank you.
I would also recommend, I did forget to say that, you know, one way as well of trying to connect the children together, if you're having those Zoom meetings after school, is rather than just setting the children either side of the screen and trying to get them to talk, why not incorporate an activity so that they can play side by side, whether it's craft or Lego, so that they're not just stuck on having to talk face to face on a computer.
I know Leo the other day was building a den with his cousin in Devon, in the UK. And so the pair of them were both in the rooms building a den at the same time and had a wonderful time. So you're so right, Hayley. That's exactly the fun things they could do. Thank you so much, Hayley. Okay, I know we've also got another Hayley now. Hayley used to live in Dubai. She was the SBS head, but now she's back in the UK and is a family and educational coach back there. Thank you, Hayley.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me. So just a little bit of an introduction about me. So as Laura said, I used to be head of primary at Southview School. My most important role to date is I am a mum. So I've got 2 boys, Eddie and Henry. They are 4 and 6. And yes, like Laura said, I am also a family and educational coach. So I'm just going to spend the next 5 minutes just giving you some sort of top tips and some things to think about during this current time for you as a parent. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is just to give you a little bit of a mantra to say, this is no time for perfectionism. So, you know, in this current climate, it's no time to try and be the perfect mum, the perfect dad, the perfect teacher, the perfect person at your current job, the perfect housekeeper, perfect friend. It's just not going to happen. So you need to change your mantra. You need to get rid of that perfectionism. You just need to say that my best is good enough. So as long as you're trying your best, that's good enough. And remember that your children become you, they copy you. So if you're trying to be perfect at everything, or if you're getting disappointed because it's not being perfect, they will also get that when they are doing their work. If it's not perfect, they'll stop, or they'll feel let down, or they won't do it at all. So I know a lot of parents at the moment are struggling with getting children motivated, and it's quite possibly because of the fact that they want it to be perfect. So they need to see you not being perfect and that being okay. So yesterday I spoke about, as a parent, it is the most difficult job you will ever do. So there's no job quite like it. There's no job more challenging than being a parent. And there's no job in the world that's got sort of a mix of emotions, a roller coaster of emotions, as what a parent has got. So when we become a parent, we have no training. We don't get offered a handbook. We don't have regular sort of progress meetings. You know, you're landed with it. That's your job. You're expected to know what to do. And the message I'm going to give you today is it's okay to not be okay. So if you don't know what you're doing, ask for help, speak to friends, contact the school. There's lots of people out there that can help you, can assist you. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be the best at everything. As long as you're trying to be good, then that's okay. It's okay to not be okay, but please, please, please do ask for help. So at the moment, you probably are doing lots of different roles at home. You're probably being parent, probably doing your own job. You're trying to keep the house with lots of people in it. You're being the children's friend. You're being a spouse to your partner, quite possibly. Lots and lots of things you're trying to teach your children, but you've only got 24 hours. So just be mindful. You're not a superhero. I know lots of us try and be, but that's because we're trying to be perfect. There's only 24 hours in that day. You can only do so much in that day. So if you can only do an hour's home learning with your children, then that's fine, because your situation is unique to you. So the worst thing you can do is go on social media and see that little Johnny up the road has done 8 hours of home learning today and his parents have put it all over social media, and it makes you feel like a really bad parent. Well, you don't know what little Johnny's situation is. You don't know. Maybe he's got 2 parents at home that aren't working. You just don't know. You don't know about the situation. Maybe he likes to sit down and work more independently than your children do. Maybe it's that he's older than your children. It's very, very different. It's very unique. And the other thing I would say is each day is different. So you might have a really good day with your family, with your children. They might, one day might be thinking, yes, I'm winning at life here. I'm a really good parent. We're getting through loads of work. And then the next day, they're just not interested or they're tired. And the one thing I would say is follow the scent of your child. If your child is in the mood to do the science lesson. It doesn't have to be done at that time on that day. You can be flexible with it. Obviously, the teachers are setting the work. They're there to be contacted for support, but they won't mind if you do 2 lots of maths lessons in one day and none the next. As long as your child is doing some work, that's better than nothing. So remember, follow the scent of your child. If your child's not having any of it, so my little boy Henry this morning was not interested in phonics today. So rather than really turn him off phonics, we just didn't go there. We went on to something else he wanted to do. We ended up actually making 3D shapes, use nets. And that was fine. He still did some learning. We just didn't do his phonics lesson that day. I'll probably try again later if I've got time. And if I haven't got time, that's okay, because I don't need to be perfect. The other thing I would say to you is be true, be kind, and be honest to both yourself and everybody else in your family unit. The worst thing you can do is sort of have this hidden sort of messages or hidden conversations that you want to have with those people, but you don't dare have them, and it'll boil up inside you. You're all in this new environment. You're in the house together. You've probably never been in the house together for that amount of time. So you've got to be true. You've got to be honest. And the most important thing is you've got to be kind to everybody, because everybody's in this new position. Maybe the children are really struggling with it. Maybe your spouse is really struggling with it. Maybe you are. But just speak about it. Just communicate. I think communication is key here. You might be struggling with the work that's being sent from school. Maybe you don't understand it. Instead of getting on a WhatsApp group or sort of going on social media and saying, oh, this is rubbish, they're not communicating, speak to the person who involved, communicate, ask for help. That's the best thing for you to do, because if not, you're getting caught in this whirlwind, this negative whirlwind, and it's really difficult to get out of it once you're in that whirlwind. The other thing I would say, and I know No mentioned at the beginning that your children learn you, is to think about using positive language and non-catastrophic language. So try and think and speak in positive language. So instead of saying, oh, I'm really bored, or I'm really fed up of staying at home, that's really negative. There's nothing we can do about it. So it's really getting you in that whirlwind of, oh, this is really rubbish, we're all stuck here. Really negative, unhelpful language. Whereas you could rephrase that to say, let's have some fun. Let's make the most of us all being at home together. Yes, okay, we can't go out to the pool or we can't go out to the park, but let's look at what we can do. What new things can we learn? Let's look online and see if there's new things we can do. How can we use our time? Look, we've got all this fantastic time on our hands. So you're turning it from a negative into a positive. So just be mindful of using that negative, catastrophic language around your children, because they will pick up on it. And then when you're then struggling in a few days' time to get them to do work, you will see that possibly they're copying your language. So just be very mindful of that. I think I've got a little visitor here. Hello. 2 seconds, because Mummy is just live. You can say hello quickly.
Hello.
This is Henry. Henry is currently doing an activity all by himself, aren't you? Being a good boy. Give me 2 seconds now. We'll be there. 2 seconds.
And can you put on your phone how an owl?
He wants to look what an owl looks like. 2 seconds now. I'll be there. 2 seconds. Sorry about that. I wasn't expecting a little visitor, but this is live, such as life when we're all at home together. Last thing I'm going to say is there's 4 areas that a child needs for development. So they need love and security. They need praise and recognition. They need new experiences. And just a note on that, you don't have to provide those experiences. If you provide a child with the equipment or the time, they will create their own experiences. And you need to provide children with responsibility. So let me go through them again. That's love and security, praise and recognition, new experiences, and responsibility. And without those, so at the moment, Henry's got responsibility because he's been trusted to put the paints out and he's painting on his own. And he's got a new experience. And I haven't done that. You know, I can't be there all the time. He's sort of provided that experience for himself. So what I want you to think about now, sort of my last part is, what needs are you meeting for your family? Are you meeting all 4 of those? Are you providing your children with love and security? Are you providing them with praise and recognition? Are you praising them enough? Are you providing them with new experiences? And are you providing them with responsibility? And that's all from me and all from Henry. And back to you, Laura.
Hi, Henry. I'm sure your mum will find you an owl in a minute. Cool. I love owls. I love what colour owl? Do you know what colour owl to paint, or not too sure?
I think he wants to. You're going to ask Mr. Google.
I don't have. I could. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to ask Mr. Google.
Go and find an owl to paint and have a lovely, lovely time. It's lovely to see you, Henry. Hayley, thank you so much. Wise words. I know that perfectionists like me, control freaks like me, this time has really, really challenged me. And you're so right on so many of those elements. And I know, quite often Paul and Leo and I do have to stop there and think, hang on, let's just embrace this time we've got at home together. Quite often in the normal world, life is rushing by and we don't have that much time together to sit and be together. So you're so right, embrace those times. And yeah, love, I definitely agree, it needs to be top. Thank you, Hayley. Okay, I know we've also now got a few people who are going to join us here and share their experience about how home learning is going for them, because in every house it's so different. So we have here, we've got the lovely Trish, our parent liaison. We've got Julian and Catherine Allen, parents in school, and we've also got our lovely Miss Libby, who is our Year 1 Violet teacher, but also a parent at school as well. Libby, do you want to share some of the things for you, obviously being a busy Year 1 teacher, but also the parent of 2 children in school? Tell me how it's going for you.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Laura. Well, a very good question. If you had have asked me 3 weeks ago, I may very well have just ended up crying. And I'm just being honest with you all there, because it's not an easy thing to do, to be working full time and to try and support 2 kids with their home learning. However, I just kept on thinking of a saying that whenever I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed, I always say to myself, and it is, there's only 2 things that I need to be in life, and that is kind and brave. And that's not just kind to everybody else around me, but also kind to myself. And to be brave, I need to be brave enough to take on this experience and make the most out of it. So as soon as I kept on saying that to myself, suddenly there was a light at the end of the tunnel. So, and now it's going okay. So we're getting there. Every day is different, and I'm just trying my best to enjoy the experience as we're going along. So I really wanted to just touch on a few tips today for working parents, because I know that we have a lot of parents out there that are trying to juggle not only teaching their children and supporting their children, but also trying to work as well. And something that I've found that has really had such a positive impact on me is making time for myself. Now, it's pretty much impossible to go out for a walk anymore, but something that I have found to be giving me quite a good balance in my life again is just to go for a walk. This was actually inspired by Miss Cressida. I saw that she was doing this, walking on her balcony. Now, Miss Cressida one time walked for 5 kilometers on her balcony, and I'm lucky enough to have a backyard. So what I do now, before we start home learning, before my kids wake up, actually, I go and I just set aside 20 minutes where I walk and I listen to my podcasts. And I'm just finding that this is making all the difference in the world. I feel as though now I've got a little bit of a balance in my life. So that's one tip that I've got for you. And I also wanted to stress the importance of making time for family time. Now, normally we're quite an active family. We love to go for bike rides and go to the beach and whatnot. Obviously, can't do that at the moment. We also love to travel. So what we are doing now, we have become absolutely addicted to travel vlogs. Yes, we are watching travel vlogs on YouTube, and it's just incredible because we feel as though there's places that we've been to, so the children will be saying, wow, we've been there, or we're now building up a list of places that we would love to go to once all of the current situation is back to normal. And something that I found that's really helping for us to accomplish what we need to in a day sounds quite obvious, but to sit with your children, and make a tick list for the tasks that need to be done in a day. I don't know about you, but I really feel such a sense of satisfaction when I can tick things off my list. And my little boy, Mitch, is really enjoying to be able to tick things off his list as the day goes by. And he loves to look at the list at the end of the day and see what he's accomplished. But at the same time, though, sometimes the next tip is that we're trying to work. A lot of us are trying to work, and our KS1 children are still little, and every single child is different. Some children are completely able to get on and work independently, but not every child is able to do that. And that's okay. That's fine. Some children will need for you to sit with them and to just supervise their learning. Now, there's a big difference between supporting learning and doing it for them. And this is really important, that for those children that need support, we are scaffolding their learning. That might be by giving them choices between 2 words in a sentence, but that we're not doing it for them. Remember, as both of the Hayleys have said, as teachers, we're not looking for perfection. And as a parent, if I was constantly making my child do everything perfectly, then I would end up going crazy. So rather than always doing the task for our child, some children will require for us to sit with them and just supervise them and give support when needed. Now, the next one is, some children are quite visual learners, and this may be that they need you to break down together, to sit together and figure out the steps that they need to take to be successful in their task. This might also be helpful to make little icons for each step that they need to take. So, for example, if they need to write a piece of descriptive writing, first of all, they'll need to think of adjectives. So maybe you could draw a small icon that represents adjectives, and then next they will need to say their sentence before they write it. So again, draw a visual icon for that. And then after they've done their writing, they need to go back and check. So you can draw just little visual icons, and then as the child is going through the task, they can check back on the visual icons to help to see that they're on the right path. Now, something that we've been doing a lot in our family lately is celebrating success. And I really try, I cannot stress how important it is to focus on what children can do. We can always come back to something that they haven't got straight away. I've been making a little list of things that maybe Mitch and I can come back to at a later stage when we have more time. But I'm also really celebrating both Mitch and Soph's successes as we go along. As we are sitting down as a family and having dinner, something that we found to be lovely is to talk about not only our favorite part of the day, but also our proudest part of our day. And it gives me a great insight into what Mitch and Soph feel that they are doing well at. We also talk about our goals for the next day. So it's really lovely to celebrate success and to talk about what our goals are. And If all else fails, I'm going to be honest, I've had a few days where I've just felt like, oh. So if all else fails, just read to them. You can learn so much from reading a book. There's been a few times in the beginning few weeks when I just felt, I don't know if I can do this. But rather than staying in that situation of feeling completely overwhelmed, I said, you know what, we're just going to leave it for now. Go choose a picture book, come and sit in my lap, and let's read. Okay, so they would be my top tips. Heading back to Laura.
So true. A book is a fantastic way just to calm a situation down, just to make you calm down, to help your child calm down, without a doubt. Whether it's a travel book, and I love that idea, or if it's a picture book or whatever age, reading without a doubt is definitely a way forward. I'm glad things are getting easier, Libby. I'm glad you've got some fantastic strategies. But thank you, you are amazing. We've got another two parents here. We've got Catherine and Julian Allen, who are parents of Polly and Kit. Now, Kit's in year 4, but Polly's in year 2. Thank you both so much for helping us out today and for sharing your experiences. It's lovely to see you, and I miss you a lot.
We do too.
Thank you. I'll let you carry on and then share how it's going for you and any top tips that you have.
Okay.
Hello all. I've been asked to speak just for a couple of minutes on our experiences and how this has gone so far for us. So the first learning thing was that all families are different and all children are different. And we probably, like a lot of people, have two that are completely one end of the other of the spectrum. So one child has pretty much grasped the whole thing, gets on with it, and is now almost self-sufficient. The other child certainly needed 100% one-on-one tuition at the start, and it's been really quite difficult. There's been some shouting and screaming, etc. And we've learned through that also you had to adapt a lot, and credit on the school as well. They've been, everyone's adapted as we've all had to go through this learning process. So at the start, they replicated the timetable. And then you learn quite quickly that they have 30 minutes for registration. And for us, Kit, you're here, Polly, you're here, job done. That took 2 seconds. We don't need 30 minutes for that. And so we've adapted a lot as we've gone on, which echoes what people have said. I think one thing we were not prepared for was the intensity of it. Again, looking from the child's point of view, they're in a class of somewhere between 20 and 25 other kids. And suddenly they've got one-on-one tuition. So there's nowhere to hide. They can't get up, get a book, get a piece of paper, a pencil sharpener or something. They've got to be there listening to you. So they get more tired, and we've had to take account of that. Finally, the other two real things, again, echoing what people have learned, we've really had to force ourselves to, don't be perfect. The 80-20 solution, 20% of effort for 80% of the solution is more than enough in these situations. I would even go further, 90-10, but because it's a temporary solution, this, to get through until we all go back to normal. So you don't worry too much. And at the start, we beat ourselves up too much, thinking, oh God, we've got to finish the lesson. We're half an hour over already, and we've only got halfway through the lesson. And now we're like, well, that doesn't matter. It'll be fine. And the other thing is, I've flipped my head a bit to, don't look on this as something you've got to get through. This is great. I'm spending lots of time with my children, which normally I travel a lot for work. And, when it's all over, I will be traveling a lot again. And at this point, I see loads of them. So that's been the fun part for me, and trying to make it fun for them as well. And I'm conscious of time, so I will hand over to Gav.
To talk a bit about the challenges that we have faced with our year 2 child, who's Polly, and tell you a few things that we've sort of implemented to try and to cope with it. I mean, we've got to be honest, as people have already said, this is not an easy task, parents, really not easy at all. And we are not teachers, we are parents, and there's a big difference really between that. As Jules has mentioned, we started off with Polly needing us there the whole time. Literally, Mummy, please come and sit here next to me. And of course, that becomes, a hugely intense experience. And so what I've been trying to do is encourage her independence. So look for areas where you can see she's confident, in the work, or something that she's really enjoying, and maybe spend a little bit longer on that area, and then see if she could maybe add something else for herself. So we kind of started off little steps, and now I'm sort of getting to the stage where I can say, oh, I'm just going to pop out and make a cup of tea, or put the washing on. Have a look at, those exercises there, see what you can do. I'm going to be back in 5 minutes, so reassuring her that I will be back, and let's see how you got on. And it is working. From somebody who was really very, very dependent at the beginning, we are definitely seeing progress now in that respect. The other thing, which I think has kind of been mentioned really, so I'll just be very quick on that, is about the timetable. We've set out a timetable at home that works for the whole family. So it works for us as parents as well as the kids. My lifeline is my fitness classes. I'm not going to not participate in those. So I actually 2 mornings a week and 2 afternoons a week, I'm doing an online fitness. Now, if that's during school hours, it's during school hours, and the kids will either be reading or working independently on something, or having a break, however that fits in. And they've got used to that now. Oh, it's time for mummy to do her fitness, right? And they make other arrangements. The other thing that we didn't do so much to start with was have much communication with Polly's teacher. We felt that she must be so busy, we can't, annoy her or aggravate her with even more questions. But having, really set up a good communication channel now through back channel chat and also emails and Zooms now. Miss Julia has really helped us with Polly in particular, because of course kids are individuals. They're not all going to learn in the same way, and they're not all going to learn at the same pace. So the teacher is going to help you to find ways of making things easier. For example, Polly is very much, she likes to write things down. So sometimes having an instructional video which she has to watch is very challenging for her. So we've worked with Miss Julia, and she said, well, how about, you ask Polly to make a few notes every now and then, pause the video, see, let her write something down that's going to help her to remember what's been said on the video and to enhance her learning. What else? Oh yes, as has already been said, some days go well and some days don't. And this is where this is a big challenge for me. You just have to try and relax about that. And tomorrow is another day. And just be happy with what you have achieved. Try and keep the focus on the positives, what has been done. Don't get hung up about the negatives. Don't let a lesson drag on into shouting and screaming and horrendous frustration, because that's going to be a terrible experience for both of you. So what we do with Polly, again, she's very much an active learner. She doesn't like sitting still. So we've introduced things like a trampoline break. I mean, we're lucky enough to have a garden and a trampoline outside. She loves the teacher, the maths teacher that sings times tables. I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name. She loves yoga, so she can go and do a few yoga positions. She loves singing. My goodness, Miss Joy and her Try Your Best song, that is amazing. So we've been doing singing, anything we can. When I feel that, whoops, this lesson is not going as planned, we're starting to get stressed here. Okay, let's think of something else that we can do that will keep up the positivity. And also, what are your child's favorite subjects? What really motivates them? What are their favorite things to do at school? Polly's very incentivized by Miss Julia's Star of the Day, for example, or house points. And one of her favorite times at school is actually golden time. So we are going to recreate golden time. So it's things like that we've been doing to try and cope with the situation. Sorry, totally overrun. Back to you, Laura.
Thank you both so much. Thank you. I know that I spoke to many of the year 1 and year 2 teachers before this meeting to get some of their feedback and any ideas. And they were saying very much similar things to what you said, Catherine. You don't have to achieve everything. You know, sometimes when the parents' expectations are so high of their children, the teachers are providing things. Some parents, some children are going to do a lot more than others. And just making sure it's manageable. Don't feel you've got to do every single activity. And again, can't reiterate it enough, please reach out to us. We are all here to help, you know, whether it is your classroom teacher or it's a specialist teacher or an Arabic teacher, we can all help. Don't sit there struggling, you know, let us know and things can change and we will, you know, revamp or improve or change direction however is needed. But thank you both so much for coming on and sharing how it's going with you both. Thank you, and love to the kids. Now we also have Trish, our lovely parent liaison and mum of 2 in year 4. Hi Trish.
Hiya, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Right, so like Miss Laura said, there's just a couple of things I want to go through, and a lot of it is just reiterating what's already been said by the previous speakers. I've got my girls are in year 4, but we actually joined Victory Heights when they were in FS2. I've also got an older girl in the UK who is studying to be a teacher, so that can be quite stressful because obviously we don't see her and we're worrying about her, and that can have an impact on, you know, how you're feeling emotionally. What I want to say is that when we joined Victory Heights, it was a new school, and it's really, really great to see up until now just how well, and I'm really proud to see just how well the school has grown and how it's developed. And then bring in what we're going through at the moment. And it's so great to see just how brilliantly well the teachers, the parents, the school, the pupils are also continuing to grow and continuing to develop as we go through this the process. Just reiterating again on what some people have said, I think it's really important to remember that every family is different and every family will have their up days and their down days, but also every child is different and individual. And from my side of things, with my 2 girls, both in the same year, both learning the same subjects at the same time. They are so incredibly different. I've got one that's up and she's breakfast had, hair done, teeth done, dressed, sat at her Chromebook by 7:20 in the morning. And I've got the other one that I need to give a little bit more encouragement with and a little bit more support with just to get her up and going. Sometimes it can be like 8:45. So where it's been mentioned before about the flexibility of the timetable, that's really helped one of them. And again, it's just remembering just how different every single child is. We've seen as parents how our home learning practice has evolved since all of this started. And I just want to give a shout out to our amazing parents for their feedback to me that I've then been able to feedback as well. But I also want to give a huge shout out to our amazing parent reps. I'm in contact with them daily, and the feedback that we get from them and the support that we get from them is without a doubt exceptional. I'm really, really proud to be your parent liaison officer, but I'm really, really grateful from the support that I'm getting on an individual basis from our amazing parent reps. So thank you so much for that. The way and the reason that we've been able to adapt the e-learning is because of your feedback and when you feed into the reps. So all I'm going to finish with now is just please keep checking the app and all of our social media. We have really stepped up the information that's coming out and celebrating what the children are achieving. So please keep checking the app, keep checking the social media, keep feeding back to us. Most importantly, stay in touch and please stay safe. Back to Laura.
Thank you, Trish. Thank you. Yeah, it's just wonderful to know that there are lots of different ways you can communicate, whether they're sharing parent through parent reps, if you're more comfortable with that, and then they can pass it on to you or to your class teacher or on to me as well. I'm here to help as well. Now, Mr. Rothwell. So we are doing a great VHPS climb, and I love a bit of a challenge, and I have taken on this challenge along with lots of other teachers and children too, and we are aiming to climb various mountains around the world, and I am aiming for Everest. So yes, we can't go out and climb and walk as we normally would outside, but many of you have stairs somewhere, whether you've got stairs in your apartments or in your houses. Yeah, get involved and keep yourselves fit. I am getting very involved, and I have even bought myself a clicker, which I thought I'm very proud of, and helped me keep count of all my steps I'm doing. So hoping within the next 2 weeks I will have climbed Mount Everest equivalent of. We also have coming up here the Victory Heights Masked Singer event, which will have some singers and covered by masks, and I guess we'll be guessing who's singing, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of talent, because you know VHPS has got a lot of talent in the wonderful staff, so please do get involved with that when that comes on board. Now, Miss Sasha, are you here? Are you there? There you are.
Here, Dr. Evil. Gosh, why is everyone so positive? So much positivity. I'm not positive because I know, parents, that you're all doing a lot of online shopping, right? I know that because when I nip round the block to take this witch for a walk, I see how many Amazon boxes, and the first part of our PLT meeting involves how much Mr. Rothwell has spent online. She's got clickers, there's all sorts of things. But I'm not happy today because I ordered some online organic fertilizer. Thought I'd ordered 2 bags. I've ordered 18. Right?
Organic fertilizer.
Organic fertilizer. So I ain't climbing steps. I'm climbing out of bed. I'm climbing on my organic fertilizer, and I'm just going to sit on it because, quite frankly, I'm not as positive as the rest of you. But I do want to say thanks very much for the 13 that joined in. Oh my gosh, that's another reason for me to be depressed. I look like an orangutan. But thanks very much to all of you that watched live. Thanks to everyone that participated. I loved that gate crashing. I'm going to have to be quick because my teenager is due back. Yeah, and if you don't want to be positive, you can send me an email, and I'll read it, and then I'll get back to you, or I'll Zoom with Dr. Evil's dog. That's just all from me. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Sasha. Miss you. Yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and thank you very much to all our wonderful speakers. Yeah, I hope that this has helped you, and we will do more of them. So please keep asking questions, and we'll see what we can do to help suit our community and help to make things even better in this very difficult and challenging time. You are amazing. We miss you lots and lots. Hit the tunes, Mr. Rothwell.